Hey y'all, we're back again with the American Signature Podcast. Today I'm fortunate enough to have Emily Stewart with SHOTKAM here with me. Hey Emily, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, thanks for being on here. Got linked up. I actually reached out to y'all wanting to do something, and Charlie, who is y'all's person, reached back out to me, y'all social media manager, and linked us up together. And actually, we talked about some products, and she said, Emily's the one you got to talk to for a podcast. So here we are.
I think it's just that if you talk to my dad, who's the owner, he's got a thick Scottish accent and people just think he sounds like Shrek. And so I'm always the one that has to do these.
Oh yeah, I didn't know he come from Scotland. I guess what was he? Was he born there?
Yes, both parents born and raised. And then it was actually one of his original engineering projects that brought him over to the States. And then he worked on lasers and cool things in the States, and then started a company actually in France. So we grew up in France, and he started a hard drive business there, and then came back, and it's really cool just because ShotKam has combined all of his little inventions along the way.
Sounds like a pretty self-made, smart man right there.
He thinks America is the greatest place on earth. So,
I agree with him. Well, we got that in common.
oh,
So,
yeah.
well, let's start off. Let's talk about you. Kind of give me your bio a little bit. You always been involved with ShotKam? Did you go to school for business or something? How'd you get into this other than just being the daughter? I know
Yes.
there's more to it. I know there's more to it than that.
No, really. There's really not. That's the limit of my skills. No, so I went to college I graduated with biology, finish in the as pre-med. I worked in labor and delivery, and my dad said, "Hey, I'm starting this business. It's called ShotKam. Would you ever be interested in coming home to Florida?" Because I was in Georgia at the time, coming home to Florida and helping me set up a website as you save up before starting med school. So I, in 2015, moved home, and he and I mean, we would literally build the ShotKams together, and then I YouTubed how to build a website. And then it is a testimony to YouTube. I mean, it's just, you can learn so much now online. And so we built a website, learned just how to market. Basically, I used to read those books, Marketing for Dummies. There's that like For Dummies series.
Yeah.
So I would YouTube all day long, then go to Barnes and Noble and read For Dummy books, Facebook Marketing for Dummies, and all those things. And it's just really cool. In 2016, we hired our first employee. That was a really big deal. And now we've grown about 70% each year, thankfully. So we have 18 employees and a lot of very full-time contractors. So we're growing, and it's super fun. We're based out of Florida. I work remotely in Virginia, but it's cool to have this success story of a man from Scotland who's moved over here and started a family business. It was started because my little brother was struggling on how to shoot, and my dad knew. So General Schwarzkopf, do you know him?
They're not.
He I think a lot of people will know who he is, who are maybe a little bit older, but he had this laser guidance system, and that laser guidance system was designed by my dad. And so it's really cool that there's like this famous video where a laser's going and it like hits a bridge and it barely misses a car. And so that laser guidance system was my dad's, and it's just cool because that has incorporated into ShotKam with his total passion for shooting. So for him, it's a dream come true obviously I work very full time at ShotKam, and my younger brother works for ShotKam. So it's just been this family business that has done very well in COVID, which is good.
Yeah, I can imagine so, definitely.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. That's a neat story. So did your dad, you said your brother was shooting, so was that kind of how your dad come up with it? He needed some way to go back and rewatch, or how'd that work?
So my brother just was struggling, loved duck hunting, but just couldn't understand the concept of forward allowance, which we often just call lead. And so my dad duct taped a GoPro and drew a little red dot on the GoPro and was saying, okay, my little brother's name is Xander. Xander, when you're shooting, that red dot should be significantly in front of the target.
Yeah.
And the problem with the GoPro is it would just, rock so much during recoil. It had that wide angle. So then my dad took a camera and put it into just a PCB tube
Yeah.
and duct taped it to his barrel as well and said, okay, let's try this camera. And so it just was from a need to teach my younger brother how to shoot. That is like how ShotKam started.
Wow. That's pretty neat. So kind of find a need, feel a need type deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And originally his goal was, his dream was to sell one ShotKam a day. He just thought, when we were meeting together in 2015, it was like, gosh, if we could do one a day, I think we could have a company.
Yeah.
And for instance, like on Monday, we sold 120 as like an average, like kind of
Really?
Monday now. So it's really cool just because it's this idea that has come to life, and we've taken a lot of companies that we love, like the innovation of Tesla, and really wanted to be innovative like that. And then design of Apple. If you grab an Apple product, it's sleek, it just looks and feels nice. And then the customer support of Chick-fil-A. That has
Yeah.
been
Oh,
like
yeah.
my one string guitar through all of this is I want people to feel like they're at Chick-fil-A when they're talking with ShotKam.
I try not to bring up COVID more than I have to, but I told when all this shot stuff come out, I said, hey, if y'all would just let Chick-fil-A be in charge of this shot deal, I said America will be done in about a week. I said we can have tops and everybody get a frosty on the way with them. So
That is so true. It's so true. It's just a delightful company. I drove up recently and the windows open and everyone in there is having fun, chit-chatting. And so we want that too. Like we want working for ShotKam just to be a pleasure, a culture where we're out serving each other and hopefully just bending over backwards for the customers and serving them quickly too, because that is what's so great about Chick-fil-A.
you talking about your employees, y'all don't have just American employees, y'all have branches elsewhere. So where all y'all located at?
So we have a UK support center. So this is the one that we're really investing in right now. So we've got Tom and Charlie. Her name is Charlotte, but she goes by Charlie. That's who you know. And so they do support. We're opening a repair center there. And we think that's going to be the easiest for people in the EU because we have 5 international online stores. So we've got US, UK, EU, and then we've got Australia and Canada.
Okay.
So if you're, for example, on the UK website, you're paying Great British pounds, we've got business numbers and VAT numbers set up there. So all taxes are included, so forth. And so we're starting first with expanding in the UK, opening a repair center, and we're already in UK time zone and so forth. And training up the employees takes a long time. It's about an 18-month process to train them up.
Oh, wow.
Just because we want them to be superb.
Oh, yeah.
So we're just about done with the UK one. January will be when the repair center opens, which will be exciting for the EU. And then we've got representatives throughout. So when there's countries that are kind of tricky to ship to, like Greece or Cyprus, we have people there that we work with. We've got Russia, we've got Norway, Denmark, throughout countries that customers may prefer just to go directly. We've got exclusive relationships with people there.
Oh, nice. I mean, because shooting, especially shotgun shooting or like what we do, it's an international sport. Most countries have some type of shotgun shooting sport, no matter what their gun laws are. So it make sense that this would be popular, all over the place.
Yes. It does really. So the US, about 70% of our sales go to the US, and then followed by 20% EU. So the EU is really quickly growing too.
Nice.
Yeah. And the UK is just in terrible lockdown right now, so that's why it's struggling.
Yeah, we were just talking about the podcast I done earlier, and I've talked to them about it. Those guys out there, and they're struggling all kinds of stuff too out there. So hopefully it'll go out well. what got me interested in it, and I'd seen them out there before, and I'm always kind of let's breathe and let's see how something goes first before I jump on something. And so I'm a duck hunter, I'm a shooter. But what I'd done was growing up, I didn't have any formal training, and I was a decent shot, and but I just got by kind of natural talent on that part. Over the years, especially my military training, I'm shooting with primarily rifle and handguns. The focal plane is different, right? So your first focal plane, so it's completely different. I've trained. I'm an infantry guy originally, so I've done all kinds of firearms training. Well, I'm going back, and I started building bad habits on my shotgun shooting.
Aiming, yeah.
Yeah, and aiming, trying to be doing reaction shooting, because on a QRF type deal or reactionary where you're actually clearing rooms and houses, it's up, bang, bang, down, up, bang, bang, down, target acquisition. I mean, you're trying to get a big picture, and so I'm very proficient. I'm decent at that kind of stuff. But something happened where I was getting snappier in my shooting, snapping, not aiming, or aiming and not leading or allowing for that, or coming shooting behind or shooting under, or got where I wasn't actually focusing enough on the target. And my duck season started suffering for it. What little shooting talent I had couldn't compensate for all the bad habits and stuff that I had started building. And so I actually been taking lessons from a guy, and his last name is leaving me now. His first name is John. He's kind of older John. He's in his 70s, but he lives there in Arizona. He's a part of the Cody Springs Shooting Club there. And so I started taking trap and skeet lessons from him, and he talked like, the USA team just got done competing. I was taking lessons with him one day, and the next week, 2 of the USA members were there taking lessons from him again. They were there doing some cleanups. He teaches, and he traveled around UK, EU, all that stuff. And so he really kind of helped us, not only kind of cleaned up some bad habits, but showed us, me and a buddy of mine, how to, when we're doing something wrong, how to self-diagnose and do that kind of stuff. And there was still a point where I was like, man, I just have one of them cameras on here. When I think I'm leading too much and I'm actually behind, but I think there's a mile in front of, I'd be able to go back and be like, no, but I could see that sight picture and I visualize that. You think you're this far out, but you're really, this far behind. And so that's what drew me to SHOTKAM. And then I thought, well, I do YouTube video, I do outdoor hunting and stuff like that. And I've had videographers stuff travel with me in the past. I'm going to do more vlogging styles for stuff this year too, especially with COVID and everything going on still. And I thought, well, if I need another angle for the videos too. And I know some people who, Ira McCauley with Mobar, so I do a lot of stuff with him, and he keeps one of his all the time. And I thought, well, I think that'd be great to incorporate, into my videos and stuff too. So I'm kind of going that route. And so I reached out, and y'all were kind enough to work out a deal with me and send me the latest and greatest, the shot camera. I got my 20 gauge clamp on it right now, but this is the 3rd generation, correct?
Yep, that's the 3rd. And what you talked about there of the difference between, because it's used for both. It's used both for training purposes, obviously, to improve. That was the original design and the intent of the SHOTKAM, is a training aid.
Yeah.
The bonus is just the fun of, like, when you're hunting and you're squabbling over, I shot it, no, you shot it. And you get to slow down and say, see, I shot it. It's just, and we've even used it like for locating where, birds have fallen, and,
oh, wow.
Just, so that's fun too. So it's totally both, where it's like you will improve, but it's also just a ton of fun to have the memories on camera.
Oh yeah, it's neat. And for me, I've gotten in, I think it's kind of been trending this way for a couple of years now, but I've gotten into shooting sub gauges. I duck hunt with a 28 gauge a lot of times, especially with with the technology and shot shell these days. If you're shooting some kind of bismuth or tungsten or TSS or heavy shot, I mean, anything you can drop them in. A friend of mine's got a big multi-million hunting club in Arkansas, and they went almost 4 years solely shooting nothing but 410s.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about some old guys that are just some crack shots. And if you bring a 20, they start heckling you.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, embarrassing. You need all that, and they'll bust them out around then. But they like their 28s, they like their 410s. And every now and then, if they got some heavy winds or they're going to hunt, they'll hunt a 20 gauge. But
That's
it's just neat. These guys, I would love to have a camera like this in one of them. But so that's what kind of got me into it. And what few days I got to actually hunt last year was all solely 28 gauge. And I shot geese, ducks, it didn't matter.
Oh,
And,
wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, we shoot that good stuff at it. So
that's really cool. And this probably goes without say, but the camera tube, this is it without the bracket on. So all the sub gauges, we have them for, if you only want a 410, we can do that. And we will
that's what I'm getting at.
give you a high five.
I have 3 clamps of this one. This is 20 gauge. You don't hear right now. If I get the camera right. I have the new quick adjust,
quick release.
Quick release 12 gauge, and then I have the 28 gauge.
Yeah.
And so we went shooting sporting plays the last couple of days. And I've been using this, and so I've actually been trying to hit the tower shots and do stuff with that 28 gauge. And then so when I do, I was getting at it. I have it on video now that, hey, I can hit a 40-yard tower shot, with a 28 gauge with 7 shot.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So with that, now it took me half a box to get it done. But I'm gonna edit it where it looks like it was just the one.
Yeah.
But that's been really neat. And then even struggling, because with the smaller gauges, even in 20 gauge, you got to be a little more on, for those longer shots. Where 12 gauge is going to give you, if you're shooting 12 gauge 3.5, which if you're doing that sport clays, I don't know why, but if you were, you got a lot more BB, a lot more spread.
Right.
You can be off a little bit, and a random BB can ping it and be good to go.
Right.
So I feel like going back and watching where you're hitting at and seeing the wad go through and seeing the pellets when you can slow it down frame by frame actually kind of works out. So I'm a fan of it. But tell me, so this is 3rd generation. What's different between this and the 1st generation? What were the steps y'all took to climb up from there?
Gosh, I wish I had a 1st generation. So this is my glasses case. It's similar to this difference in size.
Wow. Really?
And at the time it was, but look at, original cell phones when people are holding like this, and they thought that was the coolest thing ever. So the 1st generation was just kind of big and bulky. But it did really well. That was fun. And then 2nd generation was 720p. And that was our first kind of experience with integrating the Wi-Fi internally. And then the big jump was with this new A12 processor that our 3rd generation has that just allows you. So the A12 is what iPhone currently uses, that A12 processor. So it allows, crystal clear full HD with very high frame rate. And then we've just made changes along the way. It's still the 3rd generation because generations are based on the processor. So the processor is the same, but now, since releasing it, we've just done this new cool feature. My husband has taken all of my shot cams. He puts them, I've got a crossbow here to show you guys what it looks like on a crossbow. And then I've got his semi-auto as well, just to show that. But now it's cool because you can double click the power button. This one doesn't have the updated firmware. So you can see that it just went green. Now you can just double click it and it's going to start automatically recording. So the fun part about that is if you're deer hunting or doing any kind of hunting where you're not actually taking a shot and you just want to record, the scenery, now you can do that. Because the original design of SHOTKAM is to record your shots. We really wanted to steer away from a GoPro kind of constant record where you're having to edit everything. We want, if you're shooting 25 skeet targets, you get 25 videos. But we did have feedback from ground game hunters saying, I'd love to be able to record without shooting. So now you can do that too, which is fun.
And it makes sense. And I seen on one of your videos, y'all did actual video comparison with the GoPro and the SHOTKAM, a couple of generations ago. And you said, hey, a GoPro has its place, right? It's good. It's what it's for intended to use as a sports camera. It's not a camera that's designed for a shooting camera. You could see in your video when y'all did the towers, you just couldn't see the clay. You'd see the tower and you'd see burn and boom and nothing. Where on the SHOTKAM, it was honed in and it's neat. So not knocking GoPro, they got their place, right? They're
right. And that's totally how we try to do it in a very classy way. So people will call us and say, what's the difference between Tacticam and SHOTKAM, which Tacticam I actually don't know how old that company is, but um, basically it's very similar to a GoPro in that it's a click on, constantly record kind of camera. And that's definitely one of our most commonly asked questions is why is ShotCam so much more expensive than Tacticam?
Okay.
And I think that once they explain, once I go into the reasons that ShotCam differs and why it really is so much better for the conditions of being strapped to a gun and actually learning and seeing the target. There's so many patents within the ShotCam that make it unique. And then on top of that, being made in USA was super important to us. I mean, I've gone into how my dad's from Scotland and loves America like more than anything in the world. Um, and made in USA is something that we just will never change. So the aluminum comes, this outer tube is obviously made of military grade aluminum. This comes out of Texas, and then it's anodized, which is turning it black in South Florida. Printed circuit board, everything is made, assembled. I mean, it's made in USA, machined in Stewart, Florida, which is just north of our warehouse, of our headquarters there. So yeah, so the difference, I can go into the differences of Tacticam and ShotCam. Do you want me to?
Oh, no, man. I mean, I think you pretty much explained. I mean, so, and I've never, I feel like I've seen a Tacticam on a shelf somewhere, maybe at Cabell or something, but I've never grabbed one. But you're saying it's essentially a tube version of a GoPro that's just made to point and record live action. And yeah.
Right. So if you were to watch, whether it's Tacticam or GoPro, and you watch the shot, or even if you were to go out and take your phone and record a shot, it's going to look super small and so fast because your brain is incredible at when you see a moving target, your vision goes from wide field of view down to 18 degrees. So your brain can essentially, I'm sure you know this, but essentially block out all. So if you were shooting skeet and someone were to, say you're in station 4, you're shooting high house, and someone were to walk out, from station 7 and start crossing the field, you wouldn't even see them because your peripheral vision has completely gone out. You're focusing on the clay. And so ShotCam is designed to have that exact same field of view, but as well the same playback speed as your eye. So when you see a moving target, your brain essentially slows it down into 1/3 speed. So if you watch a shot on your phone, it's going to look really fast. And you're going to go, that's not at all how I perceived it. So ShotCam, I'll show you. Let me grab the gun.
Okay.
So say you're skeet shooting and you close the action. So you've got your ShotCam on the barrel. You close the action. I'm actually not going to close it because my dog's asleep and she'll wake up and go bananas. She'll think that we're about to go shooting.
Oh, nice.
So say you close the action. That force of the action closing is going to tell the camera to waken up. And then what it's doing is it comes out of sleep mode. Sleep mode's just a battery conserving mode. And then it's feeling the pull of gravity to know what the gun is actually doing. So when it's shouldered, let me put this down.
Does it have a gyro in it?
Yes. So it has an accelerometer to measure accelerations and a gyroscope. Okay. Exactly. And so the gyroscope then starts measuring the pull of gravity to know when to actually record video. So say you're skeet station 1, close the action. Okay, the camera is now ready and buffering video through a RAM, kind of like your, random access memory, like your computer. And then it feels the motion. And then once it feels the acceleration of the recoil, it saves the time before, during, and after the shot. It stitches all of that together, slows it down into 1/3 speed, imprints that reticle, which is that crosshair in the video that you calibrated beforehand, and then saves that onto the memory card. Oh, wow. So that whole process happens right away. But those steps just make using the product for learning so much faster, because then it probably takes 2 to 3 seconds to save. And then what you can just do is connect to the Wi-Fi on your phone, which I can show you how that works. Download the video on your phone, go frame by frame and see, did you stop the gun before you took the shot, in which case, in your case, maybe you were measuring the lead, which is like very common. Or for trap shooting, you'll often see you really want a steady hole point for trap shooting. For bird hunting, you'll just see when you're wild. I mean, we often say that it's really important to choose which bird you're going for. It kind of drives us nuts when it's just this like bang, 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 bang. And it's like, no, you have to respect the bird. You have to be able to say, I want a clean kill. This is the one that I want. And the thing is, adrenaline kind of gets you so excited. And but you'll see the flaring around, and you'll see, you know, the birds falling, you know, maybe you're going for that bird and your buddy shoots it down. So the hunting aspect is obviously super fun, but that's kind of how the SHOTKAM knows when to record and when not to record.
That's pretty neat. So I've shot trap and ski. I like sporting clays because it's more hunting realist, right? But I'm 34. I got a brother who's 20 and a sister who's 18, and they've been shooting the collegiate 4-H trap and skeet for years now. And they go to the Grand. They was just in Illinois. But my brother just got his first 125 out of 125, so he got, you know, he won his he's not a D anymore. I think he's an E, so he won his E class. And
that's awesome.
My sister won her D class, and so they love it. But they've never used this product before, and you know, it took them a while to get, you know, gun fit and just training down in the tower or the house on the track and stuff like that. And I just think it'd been neat to have that during those early days when they were starting, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. I wish they had that when I was in high school. I'd never played football or something. I just shot and fished and did all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's a neat product that way, and I could definitely see how it would go from there. Well, so on this, let me ask you some questions then. So I just have, you know, I shoot a bunch of different guns. I do gun reviews all the time. I shoot a bunch of different guns, different gauges. When I change it from gun to gun or gauge to gauge, do I need to go back and re-zero it every time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And about what you were just saying with trying to get to a masterclass shooter for sporting clays. So with SHOTKAM, we've shown that you can, paired with SHOTKAM and coaching, can become a masterclass shooter in 2 years. So what we basically offer is if people have a SHOTKAM and sometimes it is still like, gosh, what am I doing wrong? You know, if it's a really big lead, it's still, so what you can do is send it into coaches. We have a list of coaches that analyze SHOTKAM videos.
Oh, really?
So that's a cool option too. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But so your question was in regards to aligning, calibrating the reticle going from gun to gun.
Yeah. If I calibrated on I've only calibrated to that 28 gauge I had. And then I wanted to shoot that 20 gauge same day. So I took it off and put it right on the 20 gauge. And shot it. Does that make any difference? Do I need to recalibrate it?
So the difference, so where it matters is, so you're calibrating the distance effectively from the front of the lens to the bead of the gun. That's effectively, so if you then go to an over and under, where now this distance, this dimension now is longer, you would need to recalibrate. If you're going from a 20 gauge semi-auto to a 28 gauge semi-auto, as long as you mount to the same rough distance within an inch, then you do not need to recalibrate it. So it's just if you are physically moving it basically vertically or horizontally is when you would need to recalibrate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went back and watched the footage and I couldn't tell on the 20 gauge that it was a big difference, you know? And so it seemed like I like and you can change what reticles you use. I like just a single red dot, single dot.
Yes.
Just for me. And so I've been playing around with that.
Yeah, and the crosshair one is really good for initial shooters who are struggling with canting their guns. And so the crosshair just makes it really obvious. Yeah. If there's any kind of gun fit issue, if you're not mounting consistently, it just makes it really obvious. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we could use that if you're teaching somebody or doing something like that. That's pretty neat. What was the question about to ask again? I didn't draw a blank now. The live video. What if somebody wanted to use a SHOTKAM and do link it up to an app, because it is live when you're zeroing it? Could they have somebody? It's delayed, but could somebody sit there and watch it at the lower frame rate or at the lower quality rate? You know, 720 or, you know, whatever the quality is when you're watching, you know, zero and somebody give on the spot coaching, or is there any way to do something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So that is a question that we get quite a lot. So the answer is it technically possible? Yes. Do we recommend it? No. So the reason being is I'll first talk about just the physics of why it makes it tricky for the SHOTKAM. So the SHOTKAM obviously has a built-in Wi-Fi antenna. So if you hold the power button down the back of the camera for 3 seconds, you're going to see 2 yellow lights. And that now means that the Wi-Fi is initiated. And then you can go into your phone settings, and you probably can't see anything on the screen, but it's kind of tricky to see. That's so shocking. Okay. And then, so we're going to connect to the SHOTKAM Wi-Fi. So now the phone is connecting to the, talking to the camera. So here is, a red screen because there's that cap on.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this cap off. So it's going to be pointed at just the dresser and the mirror in the back. So does it have Wi-Fi, you know, live capability? Yes, it does. The reason that we don't recommend watching live is because there's 2 reasons. The most important is that in order for the shot to look like how your brain perceives, it has to go through that 1/3 slow motion process. Okay. So if you just allow the camera to, if you're shooting, allow that camera to download and save the video, and then hit that little play icon and actually download the video, you're downloading it when it's already been edited. And it's a video now that you can actually perceive and understand. The second thing is, if you're recording video while in Wi-Fi mode, then it records at 50 frames per second compared to 100 frames per second. So it just puts a lot on the processor to both, you know, be running the accelerometer, the gyroscope, the Wi-Fi, and recording video. So it records video at full HD at 50 frames per second. And we just say, you know, shoot without the Wi-Fi on, then turn the Wi-Fi on when you need to watch it. The video will be in slow motion, and you'll get those 100 frames per second, which really do make a big difference when you're going frame by frame.
Oh yeah, I mean, video editing in general. I mean, the more frames per second, the slower you can, you know, load stuff and go frame by frame, right, and super slow and stuff like that. So that's all pretty neat. Now, on some of the YouTube videos I've seen with people shooting, because just from what I've done, and I haven't really made any adjustments to mine so far. All I do is change the reticle to the little red dot. I've zeroed it, and then we went and shot. So I haven't made any other little adjustments to it. I mean, of course, download the app so I can watch it back. A lot of the videos I see on YouTube, people shooting, it seems a lot more zoomed in. Are they zooming that in post on their editing system, or is there a zoom function to even make it closer? There's some I've seen with looks like the clay is almost the only thing in the things. I feel like they probably are zooming in post production.
Yeah, maybe they are. So we try to exactly replicate how your eye perceives it. So that 18-degree field of view is a fixed field of view. And so either they're shooting super close targets, but if you're saying that there's lead on them, then obviously they're not that close, and they must be zooming in, maybe post edit or something.
Probably shooting. A lot of that, it seems like, especially the hunting videos. So I'd almost bet they're trying to, you know, boost the picture just to get closer. But that makes sense now with the 18-degree field of view, and it's everything you keep hitting this over and over again. It's made to mirror what your brain and eyes are automatically doing. So it seems like a lot of that stuff is just repetitive. I get it, but it seems like it's going to be the answer to a lot of the same questions. Yeah. This is designed to mirror what your eyes and brain are automatically doing.
Yep. It's designed to be totally self-editing and replicate your eye. Yeah. And I do, just as we're talking about guns, so here's it on a compound bow as well. Just kind of fun that, so if basically you take out the stabilizer and then you put out, we sell this this bow mount, and it's the same width as the 12 gauge.
Okay.
And the camera, this one has a warming sleeve on it.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So it's a little tricky to see, but effectively that warming sleeve holds a hand warmer on the inside. I don't know how well you can see. You can slip in a hand warmer.
Okay.
It's just, we're in Virginia and it's super cold right now. So this camera warming sleeve holds a warmer around the battery. The battery is made of lithium ion, which is a liquid. And so
Yeah.
if it's in freezing conditions, you just can get that camera warming sleeve. That allows you to continue hunting, in super, super cold conditions.
Nice.
So it does go on compound bows as well.
Just an off the wall question. What's the most odd ingenuity thing a customer has used it for outside of what y'all have intended it for?
We have had crazy, crazy things. People have done it with frog gigging. They've put it on their gigs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. It's actually a guy that we super love, and he sent me a video of him frog gigging, and I was like, what? Because I guess the force of actually gigging the frog could activate the camera enough.
Oh,
So it's a little sad, but
no, I like frog gigging. Sounds like a good plan to me.
I mean, we've had a guy that used it for training his daughter in some kind of sport, and he put it on a pole and would bang when she made a good play. He would bang the stick, and it would save the time, because it then thought it was a recoil. It would save the time before, during, and after. So when she did something great, he would bang it, and then it would save the 30 seconds before. And he was like, "This is great." So and then a lot of things that just are really sad that you wouldn't want the SHOTKAM used for.
Yeah. Well, we'll just leave that where it is. Well, what are some of the other? I've actually a couple of my own. What are some of the other kind of frequently asked questions that people ask you about with the SHOTKAM?
That is a great question. So, what I have, you can't see my screen, but I just pulled up the commonly asked questions, like the top questions that we're getting, and we actually have the answers on what we call a help center. But I can go through a couple of them. So the first one, what is the SHOTKAM? We know that. How does it know when to record? Went through that. Gyroscope and accelerometer. What is the zoom and video format? So that 18-degree field of view is effectively 4x zoom, just based on what your normal field of view is. If you have a narrow field of view, it looks zoomed in. So the SHOTKAM is effectively 4x zoomed. What's included with my purchase, and how is it made? So I just showed, this is the case. This is the new case. I don't know if you got this one, because this one is.
No, I didn't. I was just looking at this. That's not the case I just got.
I'm so sorry. This is fresh off the printing press. It's awesome. So it's going to come with a little accessories bag, which the design of this is that there's accessories in it right now, but our hope is that you can just take your SHOTKAM, take the Allen driver, which is used to loosen the quick release, stick, put this all in here, and then bring that to the range and just have something that keeps everything together. So what's included is a 30-day money back guarantee. So we always say, try it for 30 days. And we're recording this in November, which a lot of our customers are getting them for Christmas gifts. So orders November onward, the money back guarantee is through January 31st. So we just know a lot of these people are getting them for Christmas gifts.
That's a good idea. That's some good forethought right there.
Well, I mean, I think that it just makes sense with what the purpose of buying gifts right now is.
They may buy, we'll talk about it in a minute. They may buy it at an earlier time and, save it, sit in a shelf for a month, then give it out.
Because everyone's super worried about shipping times right now. So, so what's included, that 30-day money back guarantee right now through January 31st, 2-year full coverage warranty. What we basically see most commonly is after 3 to 5 years, the camera needs a battery replacement, same as your iPhone. So that battery replacement takes 2 to 3 days. It's super easy. You can either send it to us, or we do ship battery replacement kits if people want to do it themselves. So 2-year warranty, it comes with a 12-gauge mount. That's a standard one. If people don't shoot 12-gauge, we can sub that out. All the accessories that you need. And then if you're in the US, it's free FedEx 2-day shipping. So hopefully it comes with everything. And then once it's delivered, we basically, our email automation
Yeah.
recognizes that it was delivered, and then we send you some shooting instructional videos and then some videos on how to get started using your SHOTKAM, which hopefully you got all of this.
No, I was about to say, I thought that was deep, and how because the tracking app, that traction, I got the email track here it is, stuff like that. And then, hey, here's how to set up your new SHOTKAM. Here's, top 5 shooting tips with your new SHOTKAM and something like that. So I mean, I got 2 or 3 emails, within the days following actually receiving it. So that was pretty neat.
Well, and we just want to, because the fear of technology is definitely something that it's an obstacle that we have to overcome. Is just, hey, is this going to be really tricky? Is this going to distract me while I'm shooting? And so we really try to walk hand in hand with our customers through the setup process and saying, it is so simple. It's clicking the camera on, so that is what is included with the SHOTKAM. How's it made? So it's made in Boca Raton, Florida, and it is made with a lot of love and care. And did you get the little mint on your invoice?
I got did I get a mint? It wasn't a mint, but it was tied with a red bow.
Oh, yes.
Little ribbon.
It is you can tell that it's a lot of girls that work.
That's all right.
We try to make everything super cute. Will it work on my shotgun gauge? So yes, the question, sometimes we'll have people with 16 gauges or, so 16 gauges, that'll work with the standard 12 gauge.
I feel like that would just work with the 12 gauge one.
Yeah. We've got side-by-side mounts. We'll have people with, I guess it would be like a crossbow. So it cannot mount onto a rail. It has to mount onto either a rifle or shotgun barrel. So as long as there's barrel space, you can attach a SHOTKAM.
Okay.
The next one, will it work on my rifle? So yes, if you can attach it onto your barrel, it will work on your rifle. And then does it mount to a bow? Yes, a compound bow. And then we kind of went over this, like, how do I play videos on my phone? So that's through the Wi-Fi, the built-in Wi-Fi. And we really try to explain that you could be in the middle of nowhere and use the SHOTKAM Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi is all inside of the camera. You don't need any other Bluetooth hotspot, anything like that. And then is there audio in the videos? So yes, there's audio, but it's saved in 1/3 speed. So if you are trap shooting, you're going to hear pull, and then you're going to hear the bang of the shotgun. Have you heard your audio in the videos?
Oh yeah, I downloaded it, and we shot it probably, I don't know, case and a half between my 28 by 20 last Monday, and all of them, and I'll sit on, if I'm missing one, I'll sit there and spend a half a box on it to I get one right, and hear myself pull, boom, and to purposely do it right, I'll only load, because I'm shooting semi-auto, but I'll just load one shell to keep me from doing that second follow-up, because almost always I'll hit the follow-up, almost always, but I want it the first time, so I'll do the single, and so you'll hear me pull, boom, and then you'll hear me load, you'll hear it slide the front, and then you'll hear me pull, and it's and it just shoot it back to back, it'll just keep recording, and so you see the turn it upside down, immediately you hear me loading, pulling.
Well, so you must be shooting 2 targets within 5 seconds of each other.
Oh yeah, when I start getting like that, I'm just going over and over. I'm just
because we, in your situation, there's a way to customize what's called the configuration file. So if you didn't want, those consecutive singles all on one video, you can adjust that. Currently, it thinks that any 2 plays shot within 5 seconds should be saved on the same video.
Yeah, like you're shooting doubles or something.
Yeah, but if you're just rapid shooting singles, there's a way to, instead of waiting 5 seconds to see if it's a pair, you could just, it could wait 1 second. So everything's customizable. Your situation is just a little unique where you want to make sure also that, and you changed it to the semi-auto setting.
Yeah, I did change the semi-auto.
Yeah, good. Because if it was on the brake action setting, so you can think of the y-axis acceleration or the upward acceleration of a brake action closing versus a semi-auto is a forward acceleration. So you just need to tell the camera, the user has to tell the camera what the gun is so that it knows what forces to look for.
Yeah.
And yeah, but for your situation, we could adjust it so that you don't get really long recordings. But that's why if it thinks that there's maybe a true or a report pair, it continues waiting for 5 seconds for 2 recoils or multiple recoils.
Well, see, so that made me think of another question, actually. It's kind of a two-part. A, if it's completely dead, how long to a full charge? And B, if it's what's an average lifespan on a battery? Like not like day, like if you're going to use it for 100 shoot a day, how long will the battery last typically, or how many shots, or how much video?
Yep, that's a really good question. So from fully empty to fully charged would be 2 hours. So it comes with a USB cable that you can actually plug into your car. If it was a completely dead battery and you're just like, oh, I forgot, and you're driving to your hunting, you can plug it into the cigarette lighter or whatever.
Yeah.
And then how long does it last? So if you're shooting sporting clays, it's about 150 clay targets. If you're shooting flying birds, it's about 75 to 100 birds. The reason there's a difference there is because on the flying bird setting, it records a lot longer. It records effectively twice as long as the clay setting.
Okay.
So it's just that the battery lasts shorter. But you're typically with hunting, you're not going to shoot 75 right there.
I was about to say, yeah, if you wouldn't want to put that on video if you did that, because
yeah,
somebody's gonna come knock
you'd
on
be
your
like
door.
dove hunting or something. I don't even know, and I don't know in Argentina. But so it's about 5 hours if you're clay shooting, about 6 hours if you're hunting, just because the hunting speed is going to be a lot slower.
Awesome. Well, that's to me. I feel like we've gone over a lot, and that's a lot of information, and I definitely need to go out there and adjust mine. Like I said, I spent a whole day with it so far. About a case and a half. I shot a quick little review, my initial review of it. That I'm gonna post later, which is all good, of course. It's neat and figuring out. And if I'm just some dumb boy from Alabama, if I can figure it out, then surely anybody with some kind of common sense or education can get it done. But we was talking about what you're planning to do for the warranty for the Christmas season, something like that. So that kind of feeds in my next question. Something that you're going to bring up is Thanksgiving. A lot of companies do Black Friday sales, and then that'd be a great time to utilize that extended warranty.
Yes, for sure. No, I'm so glad you brought that up. So our biggest sale each year is Black Friday. So that is going to start on Thanksgiving Day. That is our 150 off big blowout sale where it's coming with that extended money back. So the price normally is $649 and it'll be $499 during that sale. Just with the volume right now, the sales volume, as a company, we're struggling to hire enough employees and keep everything. It's such a gift. It's such a blessing. But so we've got a limited number and it's going to basically be first come, first serve. So effectively the first 4,000 that purchase are, at that sale price. And then we're going to need a hot little minute to recoup and then be ready again. So $499, 150 off. So that starts on Thanksgiving Day and ends on Cyber Monday.
And that's going to come with the question you just asked, what comes with my SHOTKAM? That's going to come with everything we just talked about: the case, the sleeve, the tool, the 12 gauge mount, and the HDMI cable, USB cable to the micro HDMI to transfer all the stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Well, cool. Well, Eve, I guess I never asked you this on here, but you hunt and do that kind of shoot stuff too. I think you've been on some of the shooting stuff. So what's been like your favorite hunt you've used the SHOTKAM for, your favorite footage that you've had?
Oh, that's my answer is going to be so lame because it was last year. This is a true story. And it's honestly a little embarrassing, but we were out and we had our puppy. Her name is Goose. And we brought her out and she was so scared she was still scared of the birds. And one time we sent her out, she brought in the decoys and it was like, oh gosh. And there was a duck out there sitting on the water and I do not shoot sitting ducks. And I shot a sitting duck and I was like, I have got to get this for my little puppy Goose.
Yeah.
And, it's just the video that I'm most proud of because it was our brand new chocolate lab puppy. We got it on video, shot it, got it on video, sent her out. She came in, we had a bunch of friends over to split the the little duck breast. I mean, I think we each had like one tiny little bite.
Oh, wow.
That was the most proud hunt I've ever been on.
Oh, wow. Hey, isn't nothing wrong with water squatting now. I'm telling you, by the time, if I bought my license, bought my time, especially in Alabama, I'm dragging sleds in a mile to get to where I scouted and find stuff. I got no shame in it. I done tricked them.
Oh, I was so embarrassed.
No, if I've done tricked them to get that far, if I tricked them to land their 2 feet on top of one of my decoys, then I've done all the hard stuff from there.
Oh,
So
that's yes.
about that.
But it's just your dog's first retrieve. It doesn't get better than that.
No, not at all.
I could have exploded with love.
Well, good deal. Well, Emily, I appreciate your time. You've been a wealth of information. I don't know if I've done a podcast or gone to church. All the stuff I've absorbed here, everything you've been telling me. So it seems like there's a whole lot more we could talk about, but we'll maybe try to save that for another time.
Awesome. So, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully I didn't bore everyone with the science behind it.
Oh yeah, no, not boring. I geek out about this kind of stuff. So I appreciate it, and I'm sure all the listeners will too. So thank you for your time, Emily, and I look forward to more great times with SHOTKAM.
Take care.
Right, you too.